This podcast will hopefully contain words or statements of obscene, pornographic, or immoral character. You have been warned.
Podcast is starting now. Stupidities about telling stories, talking shit that nobody cares about. Potty, 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 pottycast. Potty, 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 pottycast. Potty, 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 pottycast. Potty, 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 pottycast.
Fucking makes me laugh
Yes.
every fucking time.
I love that.
So fucking 89.
89.
Hells yeah. Oh,
That intro is awesome. We need another new one. I don't know what, but
I think I put that to you.
is it my turn?
Fuck yeah.
All right. I'll think about that.
You think about that.
I mean, I love the ones we already have, but it's always cool to have a new fun one.
I love the variety. I think it's awesome. And I'm tired of not hearing pole. I still won't accept the fact that it's not pole smoker. So I am in fucking
Well.
protest. I am in protest. I am a protest of one. And my sign says, fuck y'all motherfuckers, smoke a pole. That's where I'm at. So hey,
Hey,
I heard bomb threat practiced. Is that true?
we finally did practice. Yeah, we got a show.
Yeah.
2 months away, and we finally fucking practiced.
No
yeah.
time like the present.
I mean, everyone was, I think, kind of doing their own little homework on their own and stuff like that. But yeah, it was cool. I mean, I think that for not jamming in over 20 years, how quickly we sort of got into it, and because, well, whatever, we don't have to bore everybody with the backstory, but we had some technical difficulties getting everything set up because, well, when we have Cravin Mooreheds practice, Curtis and Fred have, like, over the last 2 years, we've been kind of doing this remote jamming thing. There's a lot of sort of like growing pains getting it all figured out, and those guys kind of handled all that. So we're like way ahead of the curve on like knowing how this shit works. But when Bomb Threat practiced, it was the first time of us trying to get it set up without Curtis and Fred's knowledge on that end of how to like run all this shit. So anyway, it took a little time to get it going, but we got it going. And once we got it going, yeah, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of talking or anything. It was just kind of like, okay, this shit's finally working. We've already wasted like an hour of everybody's time. Let's just like get into this and see what happens. And
for all you motherfuckers that haven't suffered through a long distance fucking jamming practices, you have no fucking clue. Like, it is a constant nightmare.
Yeah,
because the latency is just ungageable sometimes.
Yeah, it's a lot to battle against. There's just anything that could go wrong can go wrong. Like a cord starts jiggling, or internet connection gets shitty, and it's like finding the right server to get on that's like a good midway point for both of us. But anyway, we did get it finally going, and like the sound was actually pretty good. The lag was not bad at all. So
that's awesome. Dude, that's the killer.
Yeah, so it was good. And yeah, like I said, we kind of jumped into everything, and we played, with the exception of, because I think we have, like, right now we have 15 songs that we're planning on playing.
Holy shit.
There's also some like alternate songs that I think we're going to add that we might swap out. But like I said, with the exception of 3 or 4 songs, we pretty much played the entire set that we had planned. And we the only thing that was a couple little hiccups was just there was a couple times when maybe Matt was unsure of a exact timing of a change in a song, like when it goes like slower versus faster or something like that. But Dave would just kind of like conduct him and be like, like, no, like this is faster. So we never actually fully had to stop any songs that we worked on. So like once we started a song, we played it through to the end. And I'd say out of the 12 songs we did that day, there was maybe 2 that were a little bit like, they need a little bit of work, but the other like 8 or 9 or so, I mean, it was kind of crazy. It was like we never took 20 years off.
That's awesome. That's really fucking awesome.
So yeah, I think
I'm stoked because I'm fucking $90 fucking poorer for you cunts. So it better be fucking awesome.
That's one of the funniest things. I think that's and like I think it's hilarious too. Like I don't know. Like the whole thing is funny to me about this thing that I keep hearing about, but one of the biggest comments that I've received since the start of all of this
I keep hearing about like it's
is
not true that we are dropping.
Yeah, if I had $20 for every time someone has told me I can't believe I just spent $40 on Bomb Threat tickets, I'd have like a good bit of money right now. But so yeah, I don't know. That shit is hilarious to me. And I mean, you know, obviously it's because DOA and other like cooler bands are playing, but
yeah,
just the fact of
don't stop believing, my friend, because I
paying
don't know if that's true.
that kind of money for us is, I don't know. It's like, what world are we living in that someone's willing to pay that kind of money to see this fucking band? It's like, I don't know. It's funny to me. Like, I'm stoked and I'm super appreciative, but I can't help but also think like this is hilarious as fuck. Like, how did this happen? I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. The whole thing's fucking weird, I guess. But yeah, I think we're practicing tomorrow night too. So
I see how it is. No.
I can't guarantee anything, but I think at least by the time the show comes around, we're going to be as good as we can be.
I don't know if that was really a strong sell there. You're going to be as good as we can be.
We are as good as we can be for the age that we are and diminished abilities to a certain extent, I guess.
God.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be good, but
I'm excited.
Is it going to be
genuinely excited?
1998 again? Like, probably not, but I think we all are going to try our best to make it feel like 1998. I can guarantee you that.
Holy shit, that's crazy to even think about. 98. Ugh, we're old.
In our defense a little bit, I think that there's maybe a little bit of strengths that we can add to the mix based on the fact that we're older. I think even though maybe some of those guys haven't really been continuously playing music or anything, I think that I don't know, I think like at least for like Matt and I, maybe probably like approach music a little bit differently than we did in the heyday. And I think because like when we practice, there's some of the songs we used to always play way too fast. We had the conversation beforehand that, okay, there's some of these songs that we used to play way too fucking fast that they definitely need to be slowed down. And some of those songs we did play the other day and we slowed them down and they did sound a lot cooler. Like there's songs that used to be songs that needed to have more groove, but we would always play them way too fast and they get like out of the pocket and stuff. And like, I think having that perspective now, just being older and like different types of music influences, it's seeing the importance of like playing the song at the tempo that like makes sense.
Lots of pot.
So, yeah, lots of pot probably doesn't hurt, but yeah, I don't know. I think there's like some songs that to me, they finally sound like how they always were supposed to sound, but we just like didn't fucking know about like playing slower and stuff, I guess. Everything was like faster, faster, faster back then, you know, we're like younger and like hungry and like faster and shit. But yeah, I don't know. I think from that aspect, I think we're going to bring some stuff to some of the material that I think gives it new life in like maybe more of a professional way, let's say, I guess.
Ooh, excited.
But anyway, enough of that shit. We have announced that one of our shows is now officially announced.
It is. I actually have lineups for all 3 shows.
Oh, sweet. Well, let's talk about that then. I'm excited.
Well, so we start off the day before So you don't get time to rest, you cunt.
I'm getting fucking worked over on this trip, honestly. I was talking with Matt Powell today. He's like, I'm hoping I can jump up and down at least a couple times, and I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, fuck, like I got to do this fucking 4 times. You only have to do it once.
Oh, I did my workout regimen this morning, trying to
Yeah.
get fucking yeah. We need to just continue to practice and not drop off and do shit. Like give ourselves an 8-month break. We don't need that. We're professionals. We need to keep this shit up and write new tunes. But so yes, so let me see. I have to look at my phone. And so I went from not so stoked, or not so stoked wouldn't be the right words for that, but I wasn't as amped for our Shamrock show as I am now, because like we finally hammered out a lineup and it was like, holy shit, this is gonna be fucking awesome.
Well, in contrast to that, you were not stoked on that show. That's the show I've been most stoked on, only because I can't wait to fucking eat there.
It's so fucking funny. I'm sure he is stoked. Oh well, he'll be happy because I think we sold him out of most of the fucking food he had. Well, if there's one thing to be said about us, is we can fucking eat.
Yeah, I fucking loved the food there. I was telling Trisha, I was like, dude, I'm stoked to play the Shamrock again just to fucking eat there.
So that show has, and we haven't said the lineup, like order of bands has not been established. Fred and I have been going back and forth about this. So what we did was, it was really a show swap, like with Chlamydia. We set it up, and Heroes Unsung was supposed to be hooking us up. No, I'm not giving you shit, Adam. Just saying. We thought we would get the swap that way. We had to bring in another band to get that show up in Martinsburg. But so there are some constants in the lineup. Actually, not as that bad, actually. So us and the Chlamydiates, and then we have this band that's kind of blowing up here. They're our age. They're called Luxury Teeth. I think they're on board, and so is, if you remember way back in the day, Red Dye number 9 was like, they've just reformed. I think they broke up just before like Lawn Dart started. Like they were
Wow.
heavy on the Baltimore scene, and then they broke up right before like Lawn Dart started.
Okay.
So of course Fred's all tied in with all those guys because of the Built Down Men and playing. So that's our Baltimore lineup. So it's Cravin Mooreheds, Red Dye, Luxury Teeth, Chlamydia, and then we're looking at maybe one more, a fluffer band. And then we go and travel to fucking Frost or Cumberland. And that's the Big Bomb Threat show.
Yep.
Then the next weekend, we go, and I'm fucking stoked for this fucking show because it is us, or the Chlamydiates again, our favorite band, the Constituents, and then the guitar player from Chlamydia, Roach. We love Roach. Roach has a second band, so, and they're, oh my god, Mondreri. That's what I'm going to say. If I get it wrong, it's not my fault. And then we're also going to be able to play with Adam's band, which is Gavin wrote Heroes No More. It's Heroes Unsung, and we talked about them last week. So that's that lineup for Friday night.
And that's at the taco shop.
That's at the taco shop in Edgewood. And dude, those shows, actually, I saw a clip from the fucking Shamrock, and it looked like fucking full on wrestling. Like I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I don't even know if I want to play that. I was like, it was a straight beatdown. I was like, are they pissed at somebody? No, they're just dancing, beating the fuck out of each other.
Nice.
You know, back in the day when that was fun, that's not fun anymore. And then our ending show, we play with Disfigure, Chlamydia, us, the Constituents again, and Heroes Unsung, and then Social Pressure, which ties in because you played with Jeremy and turning seasons, right? Back in the day.
Yep.
And so it's kind of cool because it's a big love fest of just bands and people we played with. So
Yeah.
it's kind of really cool. And I really want to thank the dude from Disfigure for hooking us up and kind of going out of his way to get us the show because nobody else up there was a fucking help whatsoever. Fucking radio silence.
Obviously, just playing is really cool, but then just the fact that both these weekends are definitely, in addition to everybody playing in their bands or respective bands, it's just like 2 weekends of just like the coolest, awesome, like big family reunions.
I think so. I think that's awesome. Oh, and I wanted the dude from Disfigure that I couldn't think of his name. His name is Jason Carr. So Jason, thank you for hooking us up because last year was a total fail. Luckily, Butch came through and helped us get a show up in Frostburg. But this will
Yep.
be the first time we've been within 20 miles of home and since a mat stock, I think it's probably the last time.
Yeah. I mean, we that's funny, like looking back on that, we really didn't play locally that much at all. Like you said, the mat stocks we played, and I think honestly the only other show that I can remember being somewhat close was the time we played that party in Greencastle or Mercersburg or wherever it was.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah.
But everything else we always played like Baltimore and DC.
In Long Island.
Yeah.
I think we played more in Long Island than we did in Hagerstown,
Yeah.
which is fucking crazy to think about. That we had a better hookup fucking in New York than we did in our own hometown. I think all the hall shows and shit had kind of died out, and like nobody was like fucking booking them, or we were kicked out of everywhere. Seriously, if Jason didn't come through for us, I was at the point where Adam and I laughed about fucking renting a hall and just doing it.
Yeah. I mean, that wouldn't have been bad either, though. But
No,
yeah.
dude, because the Watchacoo or whatever the fuck that one is in Hagerstown had that little stage. That place was badass.
Oh, the one like right on the crossroads on the corner there.
Yeah, like right. It's like no, not that one. The one up right off of 81. It was like right by 81. I was gonna say Kate's aunt lived there, but that really doesn't help you out. I don't remember what fucking road it was, but it was like it was really cool.
Yeah,
My
it's the
sister's
one
wedding
where like
reception.
the one where Avail played.
No, that one's off of 40. That one's like out towards going towards what the fuck wherever Gene lives,
Like
towards
Clear
Clear Spring.
Spring.
Yeah, no, this is the one's like kind of closer to PA, like near the airport.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, but that one was cool. That was like the P tanks. That's when 710 split paid with the P tanks and bomb threat. Like we did that show there at the Watchacoo.
If I'm not mistaken, that one you're describing that's out by the PA border is where the Burial Ground show happened.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I believe you.
That is a fucking band that I don't think we've ever talked about on here. That in my opinion, that was like
Were
one of
they
the,
little kids?
no, they were
Okay,
like
all right.
the like hardcore band that sounded like fucking Slayer. They were like
Oh.
they were like Slayer meets Integrity and Hatebreed, like before Hatebreed was Hatebreed. They're from PA, and yeah,
I think I know who the fuck you're talking about. I
Yeah.
think I have a big sticker somewhere.
the Tad and Chad dudes who used to set up shows like kind of at the beginning of like the 180 Club days and stuff. They got a lot of the hardcore bands in there and stuff, but they got Burial Ground, and I think Bomb Threat played that show if I'm not mistaken, but that band was fucking awesome. I actually still have their CD, which I do like break that out every once in a while. That band was really fucking underrated. I'm surprised they actually didn't kind of pop off like more than they did. I don't know like what their story was. I think I looked into them like maybe a decade ago or something just to see if they ever do anything, but I think the singer passed away.
Oh, it slows it down a bit.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that
Aw.
band was fucking cool. But yeah, no, I'm fucking stoked, man. All these shows should be fun and be cool to see a bunch of people we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, I think it'll be badass. Like I'm looking forward to like playing, but then it's the hang out, be with the bands. I think that's going to be the fucking fun part.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool. Hopefully, some people listening can make it out to some of these shows, and be cool to see some people. And yeah, I don't know like what kind of shit goes on in that neck of the woods anymore, but if you haven't been to a punk or hardcore show in a while, like, and you live in the tri-state area, I feel like these are shows that are worth coming out to.
Fuck yeah.
I would be going to them if I still lived there.
That is the joy of the fact that we used to be able to run the drink in PA, Maryland, and West Virginia and hit all the fucking closing hours because everybody went in sequence
Mm-hmm.
because everybody was so close. Yeah. If you're not familiar with where Hagerstown, like 10 minutes in either direction puts you in either PA or fucking West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so all those communities were fairly close, fair D close.
All right. Well, now that all that's out of the way, do you want to get into Taster's Choice?
Wait, well, yes, I do.
I think you know everyone except.
We've already met.
We share the same taste in coffee.
Savor the sophisticated taste of Taster's Choice.
Are you always this late?
I won't be tomorrow.
So I gave Jonathan. I'm trying to think. I think so. I had a friend that I worked with at my old company. He was from Colombia and he was way into death metal and doom and everything else. But since there's not a lot of people that listen to that shit at your office, we used to trade music back and forth. So Fernando, and you can find him, he actually does his own shit, like stoner rock now on his own. Him and his Easy Drummer and Easy Mix. Those products are fucking awesome. And if you guys ever want to send me stuff, I will surely take it. He's been creating his own stuff. It's like Eco Tea, I believe that's what it's called. He has it enunciated, and I know I've fucked it up, but trust me, that's the easiest way to find it. Anyway, so he gave me this fucking record, and this is totally out of my wheelhouse. And it was to me magical for some ungodly reason. Like I think the production was awesome, and it could have been for the time and place. I need to look it up to see what year it came out because I have done like
2005.
2005. There you go. And they are from where?
Sweden.
Sweden. So they are. How would I describe them? They are like an early metal band. Like they totally jocked like an early 70s style and fucking blew it up. And to me, there's a couple songs that would pull it off perfect records for me. But for the most part, this thing is the fucking bomb. And I listened to it fucking today and I was like, oh my God, there's a reason I don't listen to it anymore. Because like I listened to like 3 or 4 songs multiple times over as I was listening to it because I just fucking I don't know, they ring true with me. So the album is the artist is Witchcraft and the album is Firewood. And that will be their second album. The first one, the production a little bit rougher. And if you actually made it to the secret bonus track at the end of the record, most of the shit sounded like that. Because as I was driving, I'm like, fuck, dude, they really rely on his voice in this. And then I went back and started the record over. I'm like, no, it was just that song. It's just because I was getting phone calls while I was listening to it. I have to jump back on, jump back off.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I hit that last song, I'm like, dude, everything is fucking buried. But then when I fucking first song kicked back on, I was like, no, it's just that song. So what was your first take of this record?
Well, first of all, before I really get into that, I just wanted to bring up about the fact of that we've been doing this Taster's Choice thing, and I'm not sure how this is going over with people that are listening. I'm hoping that this is it's a little bit different content than we've been doing. And hopefully this turns some people on to some stuff. But anyway, I've really enjoyed doing this. Like I kind of feel like maybe we won't do this all the time, but I don't know. I've really enjoyed getting new stuff. Um and it's been interesting for me personally to, I guess there's been some angles to this Taster's Choice thing that when we talked about starting to do it, I hadn't even really thought about being like an outcome when I listened to these records. So it's been really cool to get recommendations from someone who I feel like pretty comfortable. I sort of know your like likes and dislikes pretty well. So when I got this from you, I was like, huh, this, I mean, I know like you've told me about all the stuff Fernando's turned you on to and everything, but this one to me really stood out as I can't wait to talk to you about it, because I was like, I can't believe you like this. I just, like you said, I feel like this is so out of your wheelhouse, but this is what's cool to me about this little game we're doing, because this one just really threw me. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like I honestly am just genuinely surprised you like this album.
I find it hard to find things I don't like about it. Like, like and I always say I can always get like, there's always one record off of what I usually listen to that I can get through. Kind of like, like Slayer was always my thrash band.
Mm-hmm.
But now like, and what was Cradle of Filth, like they got like the rest of the shit couldn't stand, but Cradle of Filth worked for me. And like these guys, like, I don't know. I wouldn't even say it's because it's my first exposure to something like that,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought the package was so good. Like everything about it, like,
Well, yeah. So my sort of take on it is, I think everything you just said rings true to sort of my opinions on it. Is I think that if you are not familiar with, let's call it the sort of like the new wave of 70s psychedelic doom rock, that
yes, that's exactly it.
so if you are not familiar with bands from that genre, I would say that this is a record that's probably really good for dipping your toe in to that style of music. Because what was interesting to me is how much, and there's a couple other bands sort of from this same time period that were starting to do this same kind of like retro 70s psych, Black Sabbath kind of thing. But what I'll say about this record that really stood out to me is how accurately they were able to record the album, and it really does sound like it's from the 70s, probably maybe more than any other band I have heard who tries to do that sound. And I'm pretty versed in a lot of that type of music.
Preach on, brother. Preach
And
on, because I think they nailed it.
it's kind of crazy, honestly. I was like, dude, it's insane that this is from 2005, because it straight up sounds like it could have been from like 72 or 73. And one thing also that really stuck out to me, I don't know. I'm just, that type of music to me can sometimes, a lot of those bands can sound the same, and something has to, and I've listened to a lot of those types of bands, so something has to kind of really like jump out at me to like catch me, to get me interested to keep listening. And the one thing that really did stand out from the first song was the recording. And also what I love is when a band can be heavy but without distortion.
Dude, yes, there are breakdowns that happen within the records, and you're like, that is really fucking heavy, and there is no bzzz.
Yeah, no,
There's no
not there's
crunch happening.
no, they're
It
like,
is
I don't
just
know what they're playing through, but they're definitely some type of like orange amps or like high watts or something, but they're definitely, it's like zero fuzz, zero distortion. It's just like a lot of like high end kind of like almost to the point where it crunches, but it still doesn't really crunch. And I think that when a band can do that and still sound as heavy as this band does, I always think that's just super remarkable when bands can pull that off. And to me, it also showcases how talented they are, that it's like the sum of all the instruments are what create the heaviness, not just relying on the guitar sounding mean to compensate for maybe all the other stuff isn't there as much as it should be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's like you really hear the drums, you really hear the bass, and it just all comes together to make like this unified heaviness without distortion.
There are a couple spots on the record that give you the tinglies, like because he like everything drops out and it's just him singing, and his voice is so strong that it kind of like it it's one of those rare tingly times when people sing that I'm like, wow, he fucking nailed it. Gene will tear me apart on that, but it's okay. For me, he nails it in certain spots. But like I was saying, there's the last song, he's like so far up in the mix that I'm like, what the fuck? And then as soon as it kicked back over and I started listening again, I'm like, oh yeah. Because when like that first song, I think you were saying it's the balance of the mix. Like there is, because I was bitching like that, the hidden track, like the drums are low and the bass is low and I can't hear it. And you know me, I like to hear the bass in my mix to a bad fault sometimes that I have it too pingy and loud. But um like this was like it was a sum of all the parts. Like
Yeah.
when those songs, and we saw them at the, I believe the OG Auto Bar, like the one that was downtown
Oh, that's
for
right.
like
You saw these
$5.
guys. I remember. So I didn't put that connection together, but I remember you talking about them years ago, but I didn't realize that was that band. Okay.
Yeah, Fred and I went, and we got to see it for fucking, yeah, $5 show. Fucking
Damn.
phenomenal.
Well, I will say this. I don't l- I'm going to need to give it more listens. I didn't immediately love his voice.
Oh,
I don't dislike it at all. He's really good at what he does. I don't know. At first I was like, I'm not sure if I'm digging the vocals. And then as I kept listening, and it's not that they're bad. Like I think they're cool. I just think that typically for that type of music, there's certain things that I'm looking for. And
and
he
that's
doesn't,
probably, that might
yeah,
be why I like it more
yeah.
so
He
much.
doesn't have sort of those things I normally look for. But then after a while, I was like, okay, well, that's why maybe why this is growing on me a little bit more is because he isn't so typical in this genre, and it is sort of like a unique take, and I do think that his vocals do fit really well into the music and into the recording. So I think as a whole package, it does kind of work. I'll say that one of the very first things I thought about when I was listening to it, I was maybe like a song or two into it, and I was reading some comments on the YouTube video I was watching of it. And, a lot of people were making Black Sabbath comparisons and stuff, but I was like, yeah, that's there, and that's the easy, like lowest common denominator, like comparison you can make, and it makes sense. But the very first band that I thought of that I was like, dude, this band obviously like worships Pentagram. It's like
Yeah,
they have like
so
a
that was
very
Fernando. Yes.
strong Pentagram vibe, which is awesome because I love Pentagram. But what's cool though is I thought that early on in the record, and then when it gets to the end, the very last song, which I guess you were saying is like the bonus track maybe or whatever, but it's actually a Pentagram cover.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh,
Yeah, so I was like,
is
oh
that
well,
the
that can,
silent scream
yeah,
or?
when the screams come.
Yes,
Yeah, so that's a Pentagram cover.
did
Um,
not know that.
yeah, as
See,
soon as I came in, I was like, oh well, this all makes sense now. These guys are obviously like Pentagram worshipers. Um, so yeah, that was
well,
cool.
they are witchcraft.
Yeah.
But the way,
And I think another reason why this band, other than the music, is really cool is really find the cover to be very powerful, and I think I haven't seen a cover in a really long time. I'm talking about the cover art, not the cover song.
Yeah,
But
I'm
the like
trying. I
the
was
album
looking.
art to me, or the album photo, is they did a really good job of summing up what the band sounds like in a photo. It's like, I think if you
I
were,
concur.
yeah, if you were someone like me who's into this type of music and you were at a record store, didn't know about this band, and you came up on this record, you would all like, I feel like you automatically kind of know what you're going to get. And I think that's like a good thing. I don't think that's necessarily,
It's not like when you buy a fucking Maiden record.
oh, come on.
Told you that's always been my beef with them.
I'll disagree with you on that, but
Okay, well, yeah, well, when you were a little kid and didn't know about metal, and you saw that imagery, and you fucking rolled up, and Eddie was all crazy, and you're like, yeah, this is gonna kick ass, and you're like, why is that guy screaming like his fucking nuts are up his ass? You're like, I don't know, why is he? He's supposed to be angry, not squealing. Well, I guess he is squealing. I don't know. Yeah, that's. But anyway, back. Let's not. We already know
yeah.
about.
Anyway, fuck you, man. Your fucking Iron Maiden hatred,
Dude. Oh my god. I swear to God, I was on the. Who? What's his name? Paris from the. He was a guitar player on H Quarrel.
yeah.
And he's in a band Argos, right?
I don't know about his current bands, but yeah.
He was like, on my page, you could post about blah, blah, blah. And he shat on Iron Maiden. I was like, oh my God, there's a reason that I am on this page. I was like, thank you. And there's all these people, of course, offended.
I'm gonna go listen to Power Slave right after we're done here, just to fucking wash
Get
my
the bad
brain,
mojo off of you.
wash my brain of your nonsense.
Oh.
But yeah, anyway, I think that cover just it's like really cool. I think it really personifies sort of like their whole aesthetic in like one photograph, which I don't know. I feel like a lot of album covers don't really do that necessarily anymore. So I love that is something I think was more prevalent in the 70s, is that maybe the album art did kind of match what the sonics of the record were, which is really cool. And I think they did that. And I also think, as simple as it is, I really love their logo too. I think their logo is like really cool. It's just like simple, but I love how it's just like a font, but just stretched in cool ways.
It's really elegant in the way it's been manipulated.
Yeah, it's like
I like it a lot.
Simple, but yet powerful.
So I do their third record, or after the Alchemist, which is their third album, which I really like. It's not as good as this one. They do switch gears, and I think go into a weirder doom type thing. He kicked everybody out of the fucking band and started over.
Yeah, well, I was reading a little tiny bit about the history on Wikipedia, and it seems like the singer is sort of like the band leader, main dude, and like the list of ex members is pretty long. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. But yeah, I think it's cool. I would say that out of that era of stuff that was coming out, like early 2000s, there's other bands to me personally that I think I don't want to say do it better than them, because I think their take is just different. But in that genre, in that era of that type of music coming out, there's a couple other bands I like a little bit more. But for not, which would be like that I think sounds similar but do it better, is like a band Graveyard. I think Graveyard kind of sounds like Witchcraft a little bit. I think Witch and Witchcraft are kind of similar, but I think Witch is just better in my opinion. But I think they're really cool. And if I had to give this a number, I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Well, hell yeah, I'll take that. I'll put a little bit higher, but it's okay. Would you put Cats and Jammer the same height?
No.
Like I said, as I get those weird tangents of bands that I shouldn't like, but I really like them, and they all usually have something unique about them that sets them apart.
Yeah.
And maybe it is his voice, but I don't know. There are a couple rippers on that fucking album, like, and I can't get rid of them. And I know that, like, Mr. Haze, that one's not going to go away. And there's a Wooden Cross song, that one's not going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Eh,
Yeah, there's a lot of, like I said, I think the other thing too I haven't mentioned yet that is probably a big part of what makes the record an enjoyable listen for me is we've talked about this a lot on here, but just the sequencing of a record and how important putting the songs in the correct flow is. And I think they did a really good job at that.
yes.
The record has a really good flow. I never felt like anything jumped out at me so much that I was like, what the fuck is this doing here? Like they should have put this someplace else. It's definitely, it starts off kind of rocking and then there's some stuff at like the 2/3 point that got a little quiet and acoustic style. And then it sort of picks back up towards the end. So yeah, they have the formula down for how to sequence it correctly. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, overall, I mean, I really like this one. And after our Cats and Jammer, not debacle, because we hadn't established it, I figured I'd come back with something a little bit different that I really like, that's kind of out of my wheelhouse, and I didn't think you'd listen to it, so that's why I kind of dropped it.
It's cool, man. I'm stoked you showed me that. And yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah. Yeah, now past album 3, it got to, I think it got closer into the realms where you would probably like it more, but what it lost by making it into, I think, more of like I want to say genre accurate,
Yeah.
of the things you look for, it is when it lost me. I was like, yeah, this isn't what, like, I want the psychedelic fucking, barely amplified or distorted, like, that was what kind of excited me about the record.
Well, it could very well be if I checked out the other stuff you're talking about right now. I may go the other way and be like, this is cool, but I like that on that record they don't sound like this and they kind of were doing something different. So
Right. Yeah, because I remember Fernando was like, he's back, it's different though. And I'm like, oh, I was like, fuck. It's sad. Magnus, you make me sad.
I was looking at the like the ex-member list and yeah, this is all their names is so great. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
like there's no doubt where they're fucking from. Past members Ola Henriksen, Simon Solomon, Tom John DeLeus, Oscar Johansson, Jonas Arneson, Jens Henriksen. It's like, man,
It's like a fucking or a Viking colony.
pretty much. It's weird that they're a 3-piece now too. So I don't know if
Oh, that's funny because the fucking picture on iTunes has them at 5. Or actually, it looked like more than 5.
I mean they may be they might have like touring musicians that jump in, but it looks like the main band is the singer and he actually plays guitar now and sings. He's not just the singer, and they have a bass player and a drummer. And the people in the band currently have been obviously the singer's the only original guy, and then their bass player and drummer have been with them since 2022. So yeah,
Yeah, he just blows through them. I think it's nice talking to you guys. But get the fuck out.
yeah. I wonder if he's kind of got like lead singer disease, or if just everyone's doing other shit and he has to keep getting people.
Yeah. Yeah, what is he that big of a prick, or he's like, fuck you, I don't need you, adios. On that fucking note,
Yeah, go check out Witchcraft Firewood album. It's pretty sick.
yeah, awesome.
Cool. Well, we'll talk to you next time then.
Adios, motherfuckers.
Later.
This podcast was brought to you by Potty Mouth Records. Contact us at pottymouthrecords@gmail.com and find us on the web at pottymouthrecords.rocks. That's .rocks.
That was way better than I expected. That was awesome.
POTTYCAST. Podcast. Ba-da.